Hey, what's up, everyone? Ralph here. So, there's been a lot of talk, obviously, about how the middle class is being squeezed out. The fact that the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer, and obviously, a lot of that has to do with inflation, right? The purchasing power for a lot of people have been reduced, and for a lot of people, they feel like this is being done intentionally, right? That this is done by design. Now, whether you believe that or not, this is how people feel. And a lot of people feel this way. So in this video, I'm going to share with you a woman who's going to, at least she's going to talk about or why she feels that that's the case, right? She's going to, break down and share her thoughts on why she feels that way. So I'm going to let her talk, and then I'll share my thoughts in between.
I just had this realization this morning that the system, of life and how we work till we die is not broken. The system's in place just doing what it's supposed to do.
So let me talk about, this concept of, working till you die, right? Because for a lot of people, this is their reality, right? A lot of people worried about having to work into their 70s, 80s, or not being able to have that real retirement. And for a lot of people, this is the reality. Like, unless you're wealthy or unless you obviously, set yourself up when it comes to your retirement funds, invest it properly to make sure that by the time you retire that you have money that to pull out from to help you live out the rest of your life. You're going to be someone that's probably going to be working till you die. And it's weird because, like, I don't know, maybe I think when it went back in the days, way back when, I think what it used to be is that when the people had a community, right? Like, when people got older, the community would take care of the elderly people, right? And especially in different certain cultures, like what would happen is that obviously family members, close families would make sure that they would be able the ones to retire you as you got older. Obviously, we don't have those days now, right? We rely on government assistance, right? We live on things like Social Security, and if you're someone that's relying on Social Security, that you can't do that. Like, if you're under the age of, and especially if you're under the age of 45, if you think Social Security is going to even be there, you're out of your mind. And let's say it is there. Like, Social Security is not there to help you live out to allow you to live the rest of your life. It's just supposed to supplement you, right? Like, you can't live off Social Security alone. And for a lot of people, this is what they're doing, and I wouldn't rely on that, because it's just not enough, especially with inflation being the way it is. And when it comes to like working, for me, is like there's alternatives to that, right? Like, if like a 9 to 5, like a regular job is just not enough unless, like I said, you have a high skill position that makes you a lot of money, or you're these high earning athletes, celebrity entertainers. A regular job is just not enough, especially with the way inflation is outpacing wages. You need to come up with alternatives, right? And I knew that, early on, as soon as I graduated, I was like, all right, I don't want to have to rely on just a regular job, right? It's just something I didn't want to do, because it's just hard to get by with it, especially the way things are, especially with the government manages on money. So you have to find ways to increase your income, whether it's the side gigs, starting a business. I would recommend everyone try to do these things. I know a lot of people feel like they're not capable of doing it, or it's just not for them. But what other choice do you have? Are you gonna just rely on your regular job and just let inflation eat away at it? You have to come up with alternatives. You have to come up with solutions, and that's one way to do it. For me, start a business, right, where I get to dictate my income. And I think a lot of people should do this. This is a way that you combat the fact that maybe you working for a company and you feel like they're working you to the ground. At least you can have a way to dictate your hours, dictate your time, and dictate how much money you make for yourself. So let's let her continue.
To keep the rich richer and keep us working into the ground. I just looked up some statistics that 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, and those that are working, 85% of them hate their job. 60% of Americans who make over $100,000, six-figure income, are living paycheck to paycheck.
Look, if you got six figures and you live in paycheck to paycheck, more than likely you spend more than you're living above your means. Right now, obviously, you live in California, New York. You could probably justify a little bit, but even still, like, making six figures, you're someone that's and this is for most people. Like, a lot of people, we are bad when it comes to how we manage our money. Like, we're a consumption nation. We spend a lot of money, right? And if you looked at everybody's just finances and you just put it out on a spreadsheet, I can make a bet that most people spend more than they make. Right, and now you're probably thinking, oh no, that's not the case, Ralph. Like, things are more expensive. Obviously groceries, everything is more expensive. Everything has gone up, sure. But even before things gone up the way they have, people were still living paycheck to paycheck. People are still spending more than they make. And if you think about it, people are like, oh man, if I just got that raise, if I just made more money, I would be able to, make sure I could pay my bills and stuff like that. But what tends to happen when people make more money? They tend to spend more money. It's lifestyle creep. People do it all the time. I'm guilty of that, right? I had $30,000 of credit card twice in my life. So, but then I figured out how to manage my money better, and I'm way much better than that. But for a lot of people living paycheck to paycheck, I understand things are more expensive, but usually, like, unless you're like living in poverty, like you have an income situation, right? You have an income problem. But for most people tend to spend more than they make. They're just very bad at making money. And you're probably thinking, oh, it's not fair, Ralph. Like, I should be able to enjoy my life. I should be able to go on vacations. I should be able to buy the things I want. Look, these are first world problems, right? Like you could do all, look, if you want to do all that, that's cool. But understand there's consequences to that, right? Things cost money. There's no way around it. Things cost money. You want to enjoy your life. You want to go on vacations. You want to buy the things that you want. These things cost money. And if you get to a point where you're spending more than you make, then the consequences are you're going to live paycheck to paycheck. That's just the reality of it, right? And I understand, like you want to live that life. We all do, but we have to put ourselves in the position to do that. We just have to be smart about our money, right? We look at the finances. We make X amount of money. We spend X amount of money, right? You have to be smart about it. And if you don't like the way if you don't like living with living within your means, then you just have to figure out how to increase your means, make more money, and that's something you can control. Is it difficult? I mean, sure. It takes a little bit of effort. You got to find obviously the right path to take to make more money, but it's definitely within your control. So when it comes to people that's living paycheck to paycheck, especially people that hate their job, look at most people hate their job. Jobs is not something that you go in there like to do for fun, right? It's few people that actually really like their job and they enjoy their job and bless those people. But look at you work at a job, you go in there to get paid. You do a job and you get paid. That's what it is. It's work, right? Work is not fun. Work is work. Work is duty. Work is just something you have to do in order to get the things that you want, right? The things that you need. So it's not a surprise that so many people hate their job, and that's just the reality. It's just something that you can't really avoid, especially when someone's dictating your time, right? Most people just don't like working for other people. People want more control over their time, but unless you're doing something for yourself, that's just the reality that you have to deal with. Unless you find a way to remove yourself and from that and create something of your own. So that's usually how it goes.
49% of households in America have credit card debt. Over $1 trillion in credit card debt last year. 44% of Americans can't even cover a $400 emergency. Same. 51% of American adults have little to nothing saved for retirement. Who the hell thinks we're going to get there? The way things are going right now. 3 out of 5 households don't have enough life insurance. And only half the states require financial literacy courses to graduate from high school. I don't know about you, but I wasn't one of them. I have a whole PhD, and I was never taught anything about financial literacy. Don't even get me started about healthcare.
All right, so when it comes to this financial literacy, right? I know a lot of people talk about how I wish they taught this in school. Sure, but the people that are probably teaching you in school probably they're not even financial literate. So, but I'm gonna tell you that here's a secret that everyone can do, right? There's these things called books, right? There's books. Read them. There's many books out there for $20, $25 where you can read and learn about financial literacy. It doesn't cost that much, right? You don't need to go to school for these things. You can read a book. You can, while you're at the gym, instead of listening to music, you can pop in an audio book. These are so many ways to increase your financial literacy, right? And it's all based on your effort. Like, the information is there. It doesn't require that much. Like, financial literacy is just really math when it comes to dealing with your finances and just habits, right? It's just about daily habits. You got to develop better habits, right? Sometimes it's just not even about the knowledge or the books that you read. It's just about developing better habits, because we all know that if you spend more than you make, you're probably going to be broke. You're going to be living paycheck to paycheck. Everyone knows this, right? It's just simple math. You make $1,000, you have to spend less than $1,000, but people tend to spend more. It's just basic math. But if you really want to become financially literate, then the books are available. The information is there. We live in the information age where the internet is there. You can learn this all on your own. Don't blame institutions like education for why you haven't learned financial literacy. Like that's something maybe as you're younger, sure, you can do that, but as an adult there's no excuse. You can just literally, the information is all over the place where you can take the time and the effort and the commitment to learn this stuff yourself, right? And we can all do that, especially if, as an adult, there's no excuse. Like I understand we're all busy, but you can take an hour of your time to read a book and learn how to do this stuff. Right? It doesn't take too much. It's not something that you need 4 years to learn. Obviously, it's just developing daily habits over time, and that's something we can all do. And that's just the gist of it. Like I understand, like we all understand, like when it comes to this whole system of when it comes to middle class, like yeah, like times are tough. Like times are very difficult right now, and I'm gonna be real with you. Like it could get tougher. Right, it might get tougher. There's a possibility that it gets even tougher. You think it's tough now, it could get a whole lot tougher. So you got to be prepared for that. And the way you prepare for that is make sure you reduce that debt. Right, if you got credit card debt, try to get rid of that as quickly as possible. That the interest on that is ridiculous, right? If you got student debt, then obviously you want to try to figure out how to pay that down as much as you can. But you want to make sure your finances are in order for when things do get tough, that you're not strapped too much for cash and your cash is not going to some other institution. It can go towards you and your family, so you can take better care of yourself. And I think this is what a lot of people need to prepare for, because things are really hard right now. Things are very expensive. And I don't want to not feel no empathy for the people that are struggling, living paycheck to paycheck, but this is the reality. You have to deal with reality, and things are very difficult right now, especially when it comes to your finance, and you have to make decisions that's going to help better. Don't just say, oh, it's the system, and just give up. You have to do something about it, right? And I would recommend everyone do that. So those are my thoughts. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Make sure to leave a comment down below, hit the like button and share, and if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe. All right, so you guys take care, have a good one. Later.